Yeah, we are. Hello
Okay.
and welcome back to Propulsion Lab at Devoxx UK, coming to you
Woo!
live from London. Yes, and May is my next guest, and it's been forever since we last spoke.
Yes,
And
I know.
it was in Birmingham, right? When we last spoke, I think it was like all in the UK.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. Or was it New York? I don't know.
Well, it could be
One of
any.
those.
It could be anywhere, but now we're in London, and
Yes.
May. Thanks for being here. Great to have you. Uh, I. You mentioned that one of the talks that you delivered here was about a catastrophic incident that you take a great great pride of.
Pride wouldn't be the word that I would choose, but yeah, I mean it happened. So yeah, it was an incident that I decided to do 15 minutes talk about. You want me to elaborate?
Yeah, so first of all, you can do the entire 15 minutes, but
Yeah.
let's have a discussion instead. So just tell us what happened, and we'll see where it goes.
So, for about almost 2 months, I've been working on this big feature, and the goal was to expand the IP range that we have available for pods in our Kubernetes cluster. And the thing was that I needed a lot of work to get done to adapt our networking solution that we have at Porter. And then I knew that I need to test it properly. So far, so good. So I started out with one of our regions, and I started with a dev cluster in that region, and it's a region where we have less traffic. Still pretty standard, starting with a lower traffic region, starting with dev cluster, ideal. And then I moved on to another production cluster, still in that lower traffic region, moved to the bigger traffic region, and from there,
This is all very reasonable so far.
yeah, why am I telling you all of this? Because I want you to feel the level of confidence that I had when I got to the point where I needed to deploy this feature in our main production cluster.
That all sounds
I
very
tested over
reasonable path to
four
get to
clusters, two
gain. Yeah,
different regions.
absolutely.
What?
This is how you gain confidence in your
Yeah,
deployment.
exactly.
Makes perfect sense so far.
So 7 hours before my flight to Milan, I triggered the deployment. Moments after,
Still enough time to see what's going on.
yeah, a few minutes after I trigger that deployment, I get a Slack message. Hey May, the load balancers are not responding, and
Ouch.
our services are not getting requests.
Dot, 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 dot.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just delete.
Just roll back.
I'll delete what I just did. Okay, delete. That's it. That's okay. I tried to delete the new configuration, and I get another Slack message that people tried to get to some DNS and they got to a different DNS instead. Okay, let me put it in simple words. Just imagine that you're trying to log into Facebook and you end up in MySpace. Huh.
Interesting. Okay.
Randomly, and you
Okay.
don't even know where you're going to land.
Okay.
And that's it. Everything spiraled into a disaster. I lost my job. I lost the flight. I missed the flight. Nah, that's not what
None of that happened. I know you. None of that happened. Okay. So what did happen?
So what actually happened was because we had everything written and changed in the infrastructure as code that we have at Porter. We were able to track down the changes that I made, but also we were able to track down all of the services that were still under migration to Kubernetes, and also the services that were post migration to Kubernetes. So for those, we had a very simple and quick rollback solution. And that's the first thing that we did. We rolled back, and the rollback meant not to get them off Kubernetes, but to just route the traffic to the VMs, to the previous service that we had, and immediately we could get everything up and running. And then we were able to think, what's happening in here, and to investigate the issue and while not being under pressure.
That's that's awesome. That's a good rollback strategy. What do we learn? What do we learn from all this incident? Because what it sounds to me is that you were pretty prepared for this rollout. You did all the right steps. You gained a lot of confidence working with smaller clusters and development environment and what's not. So, what could you do better?
So the thing is that something will always happen. And if it didn't happen, you're in luck. Because when you make big changes, big things can happen. And what you want to do is you want to prepare for, the worst. And the way to prepare for the worst is this. First of all, having a rollback strategy. That's the most important part. No matter how confident you are, you need to have a quick, easy way, to roll back from the new changes that you made. Another thing is about the culture. At Forder, we have a culture of collaboration and trigger warning. It's not just a statement, okay? We have a culture of collaboration where I can call my colleague and say, "Hey, I'm in the middle of this big incident. Can you jump in?" And she would already be in the context of things. So it's not like I need to start telling her about the feature from scratch and getting her in on the details. She was already on the details. She was able to help me right on the spot. And the third thing was I had support from the bigger, range of people in the company out of the box. What it meant was people were reaching out to me from other teams and some other managers, and they were the one who did the talking with the clients. They were the one who gave me the information that I needed in order to understand what's going on, and it was easy for me to learn more about the situation, provide a solution, and I knew that they're taking care of the communication for me. So those three things, they were the reason why I caught that flight and I kept my job.
Yeah, no, this it sounds like a very healthy way to tackle an incident. How do we prevent it? Is there something that you could do better to avoid the incident altogether, or should we just accept the fact that shit happens?
Both. Both. I mean, first, yes, you should accept the fact that incidents will happen. There's always going to be an unknown unknowns. That's the reason why we call them that. We don't know what we don't know. Maybe there is some manual configuration that somebody did and it's something super old, but it's still there. Maybe it's something that you forgot to configure yourself. So once we know that these things will probably happen, what you can do is invest more in the testing phase. And while I did invest in the testing phase, I think that what I should have done is invest more in testing the infrastructure itself rather than testing the services that are running on the infrastructure. I hope it makes sense. Like if we have the Kubernetes cluster, I want to be able to test the cluster itself and test the infrastructure before I start deploying things onto that cluster. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. Well, okay. I think today we learned. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
We
having
need to
me.
talk about those shoes. We need to find a way to show those shoes to the audience.
I can take one shoe off and
Yes,
present
let's
it.
do that
'Cause I'm
because
gonna.
those are spectacular shoes. Yeah, this is. Wait a second. Yeah, here you go. I mean, that's the.
I love the fact that I'm present. I'm one of my foot is barefoot. But I love it. It's a beautiful shoe.
Yeah, this is a perfect. This is a
Perfect ending.
ending for our interview, mate. Thank you very
Yay.
much. It
Thank you
was,
for
as
having me.
usual, pleasure to have you.
Love
And
being here.
I'll see you in the more episodes of the Build Propulsion Lab. I'll see all you just around the corner. We have at least one more for today. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for being here.
Woo.
And talk to you soon.